welcome to episode 19, I believe. 19.
There's been so many, it's all like a blur right now.
We call it episode Pepe.
Is that his number?
Yeah,
Fucking
19,
Bambi
the
on nice.
best player in Arsenal.
Bambi on nice.
The best player at Arsenal, fam.
Yeah, that says a lot.
It does say a lot. That's on Arteta. That's on the boy
It's on
Arteta.
Arteta, it's on the boardroom, it's on everybody.
Anyway, I heard the job's coveted. So if Arteta goes, there's a lot of people that wanted the
By
job.
who?
I
I heard nothing. By
That's
who?
what I heard. Ornstein told me.
What did he say?
He said that a lot of people are coveting that position. They're waiting for Arteta to fill.
A lot of guys. Also says a lot of things.
Well,
Did he say any names?
He's closely connected to the club, isn't
He
he?
says a lot of things.
What he says a lot of things. What has he not said? That? Do you know if Leipzig hadn't won yesterday, Arsenal will be getting Sabozala, whatever his name is.
What, Dominic guy?
Yeah, the Dominic guy.
Why?
Because basically he's going to Leipzig now. Because he was something to do with them qualifying for the Champions League. They had the money to afford it.
That's the type of luck Arsenal get into. But anyways, enough of that. You know, we touch on Arsenal and their failures later. We've got a new guest in the building, the smoothest MF around. This guy, silky in the box, strong as an ox. Woo! What do you want to tell them, guy?
Oh boy, yeah. So obviously it's Lass. You can catch me on socials, Noah Lass, on Insta, and yeah, pleasure to be here, boys. Let's get to it. Still,
Who do you support?
Man United fans. Still, it's been a tough week. Still,
Great week.
Great week.
It's been a great week.
Been a great
Balled
week.
out. Pogba balled out.
Yeah. I don't know. With United these days, like, you just have to try and
Take the good or the bad.
dissociate yourself from the club in it a little bit, like.
Don't worry, you beat City this week, though.
Yeah, but you see, that's the issue of the club, fam. That's the issue of the club. Like, everyone and their uncle can see the club's going nowhere under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, innit? But the problem is, he's going to win a game every 5. That's going to be like, oh, he needs to stay in the job.
That's what I like about
And it's just going to keep going, man.
That's cycle. Is that
The
Ole?
Oli cycle.
Terrible, fam.
Ole's at the flipping.
Oli, keep him at the wheel,
Always has
man.
one key in.
Every time. The key win comes when his job is in perilous.
I don't know how he does it, literally.
His job is not perilous right now.
No,
They're
it's
gonna-
not.
it's not
That's
perilous
the
at all.
problem, fam.
If they get backed by City, it could be.
Before we
It
go
isn't
into
though.
Man United, let's get the initiation questions done. The TMG questions, we go through them quickly.
Let's go.
Tells us the tone of the episode, so let's go.
For some, he does.
Ronaldo or Messi?
CR7.
Woo!
I'm gonna give you that because you're a United fan. LeBron or Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
Larry or Magic?
Magic all day long.
City or Liverpool?
Let's see.
Mayweather or Ali?
Ali.
Fury or AJ?
AJ's my guy. But Fury's the better technician. But for the purposes of this question, I'll say AJ.
Okay. Pep or Klopp?
Pep.
And what's your true love? Football, basketball, or boxing?
Oh, football.
Football guy.
The AJ question always gets, guys.
I don't know, because people love AJ, innit? They like
Heart
AJ.
says AJ, head says
Yeah,
Fury.
head says
Because
Fury,
people love AJ,
That's
innit? AJ is because he's like us, innit? You can see yourself in
That's what I'm
AJ.
saying. That's what I'm
So
saying.
it's hard to root against a guy that looks like you, innit?
So hard, fam.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's hard to. That's why.
You to get the business done this weekend. You got
If he
5
loses
freedom.
to Pulev, then there's no discussion anymore.
So that's what.
No discussion about what.
Fury AJ, we don't want it. I don't even want to see that fight if he loses
Nah.
to Pulev.
You just have to see it.
You still have to see. Probably get pushed
Stars
back.
make fights. You still have to see it.
No, but then it won't be a bigger draw if he loses to Pulev.
It'll still be a big draw.
We'll take a
Because
hit, but we'll take a hit obviously.
He'll
But
take the hit. He'll probably beat Pulev in a rematch, and then he'll take
cover.
the Fury fight.
Again, another rematch. I don't want to see that. I need Joshua just to win.
But I
Make
also,
it clean. I don't want any more distractions. Man. I don't want
I
it.
always tell people heavyweight division boxing is very different to all the other divisions. It's like a loss is not the end of your career.
No, it's not. Exactly.
It's not.
Like, look at Lennox Lewis. He had 2 losses against guys he should have lost
Absolutely
to.
right, fam.
Yeah, and that's why people don't really respect Lennox Lewis
No,
like
but
that.
I don't. To be honest, that's always been a mystery to me. But it's not because of losses. Lennox Lewis was the best of his era.
Think about the way we all talk about Fury today. In that fight against Wilder first time round, he was knocked down twice, fam.
We're not down, but he should have won the fight.
No, but what I'm saying is
Yeah.
like either one of those could have been like a
Could have been
knockout.
the end.
Could have been the end, isn't it? That's
To be
how
fair,
it's
the
fine
Fury
lines.
fight
fam.
was actually handpicked for Wilder because Wilder tried to fight Fury when he was at his,
When he was-
his lowest.
Typical Wilder.
Yeah.
Fighting guys
He tried to
at the
fight at
worst.
his lowest, but then he.
You're always trying to fight the worst version of guys.
Boy,
Well, he had the AJ fight. We know he had it, so and he ran away from it.
isn't that kind of what Floyd did though?
With what?
Fighting guys like not at their peaks, or was it just Pacquiao that he did that with?
Pacquiao won basically.
He waited until Pacquiao wasn't
No.
wasn't gonna hurt him.
If memory serves me right, he wanted Pacquiao to do Olympic style drug testing, and Pacquiao said no. And why Pacquiao said no, only Pacquiao knows.
Is that what he said?
If you go into Floyd and watch his what's called the tapes back, that's what he always
That's what he
maintains.
says.
And why Pacquiao said no, I don't know.
What's Olympic style drug testing different to the other type of?
Basically, it's much harder to what's called finagle your way around if you're taking drugs. And in the boxing circles, some people do say, or quite a lot of people do say, Pacquiao has been juicing.
Didn't Canelo get caught out?
Yeah, he got caught up with some meat, apparently. You know, so I think some.
So, can they never call for meat?
Yeah, Mexican meat.
Apparently, the meat was tainted.
Mexican meat.
Just how Fury said, yeah, he ate, the reason he had some drugs in his system was due to wild boar or something along those lines. So yeah.
Well, Fury's been saying that he's been taking drugs though. He said it at his lowest he takes drugs.
No, he's taking like cocaine, not performance enhancing drugs. That's performance.
Well, Big Baby.
Worsening drugs.
Big Baby, we know what he's on.
He took everything. He just had all the needles.
And he changed. he changed Anthony Joshua's story.
Right.
Changed his story because if he fought him, Joshua would have beaten him up, and then he wouldn't have none of this Ruiz.
Yeah, that's why I think Josh is not going to fight any late replacements anymore. Because that's how
He's made that decision.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not. He's made that decision. That's what one of the commentators was saying. You know, he won't allow anything like the Ruiz thing to happen again.
It makes sense though, but as a boxer, obviously
He's taking on all the risk, isn't he?
Yeah, Fury was about to do that, wasn't he? Because he said he was gonna have a fight before in December, but then he was just like, I think it was getting later and later, and they just
yeah, but his late replacement was someone we've never heard of. And even to be fair, most of us never heard of Ruiz, but we actually looked at Ruiz's career. Ruiz was a credible fighter.
White wanted to fight him.
Who?
White wanted to fight Fury.
Yeah,
Because obviously Povetkin's got covered. Apparently, had covered. Obviously, he's just trying to run away from White a little bit longer.
I don't know why he's trying to run. Look, he's getting older.
But it's the
maybe he needs more time to recuperate.
Because obviously White dominated that fight, innit?
Yeah, apart from really getting, have a couple body punches and get that, that knockout. Yeah, it was crazy. But anyways, I want to speak on that guy briefly. Obviously, before the Spence and Garcia fight, there was a 6'5.5" super welterweight with a reach of 80. And he just caught my eye. This is the first time I ever heard about him. So I was thinking, wow, this guy, his dimensions are amazing. For his size, he's got quick hands. His combinations were great. And he's obviously, because of his size, he's barely going to fight anyone that's even over 6'1" or 6'2" in the super welterweight division. All around 5'10", 5'11", 5'11", and 6 on the dot. And his reach 80 is just crazy. And
how tall is he?
6'5.5".
How does he make weight?
He's slim, innit? He's young. He's like 22, innit?
He's gonna get heavy though.
He's gonna rise up through the ranks, and he's gonna be a real nightmare in that division. Obviously, you got one of the Charlo twins. He's a belt holder, and I think he's a multiple belt holder in that weight. And in my opinion, the guy's gonna be avoided because he's just a nightmare waiting to happen.
It's because he's awkward. When you find it's not gonna be a normal fight, it's awkward. A man is 6'5" with a mad reach, and you've never fought a boxer like this before. So obviously,
I think his reach is 2 inches shorter than either AJ's or Fury's.
But even that he might be at disservice as well because like he's mad long and he's fighting someone small. He can get inside them.
If you can break his reach, you get inside, then he'll be at disadvantage.
He keeps everyone at range. Then.
He keeps everyone at range.
How do you beat him?
Like the last fight he had, his fought guy like 5'9", 5'10", gave him a nice uppercut. And the guy was so far away from him. Literally so far away from him. He literally at a point of contact, the guy couldn't get anywhere near him. Like that's how mad.
Well, you're gonna have to take punches if you want to hit him.
But his hands are quick.
Come inside.
His hands are quick, like. And I was watching his previous fight before. You defeated a guy, knocked him out 6th round. I can't remember his name, but he's a decent fighter. And he was even trying to battle him on the inside. And on the inside, he's actually decent for his size. Like he'll be giving you short uppercuts, short hooks, short body punches.
Oh, wow.
And he's actually got a good career ahead of him. He's only 22, 23. So, but I see the guys, the belt holders. I see them avoiding him for as long as possible because wow. Those dimensions are crazy.
That's not
Fight
surprising.
at 6'5", don't he?
6'5.5" is crazy. I mean, his record 16-0, 1 draw, 11 KOs. I mean, I want to keep a close eye on his career progression. I'm excited for him.
Yeah. I hope this sounds so gimmicky though. It just sounds so gimmicky.
What's dimensions?
Yeah, all of that sounds mad gimmicky.
He's a freak, an athletic freak. Let's see how long he can maintain this level for. I mean, he said he wants to take on all comers. I was even interested because obviously one of the I think both Charlie twins were there, but one of them obviously is in his weight division. He was there at the fight, and he was there obviously to watch Spence because they have the same trainer and stuff like that. And so when he saw this guy, and I assume that's probably the first time he's seen the guy in the flesh. And, you know, you got a good close look at him. A guy's potentially going to fight in a few chances. You know, very interesting.
In the Charlatans are trying to fight those that are 6'5".
Nah, I see
Anytime
that.
soon.
I see them avoiding him.
Anytime soon.
Oh, yeah, I see them avoiding him.
Is he good technically?
He looked very good technically, yeah. Good combinations, good jab, good reach.
That's bad news for the rest of that division.
Bad news.
That's bad news. Technically,
if his career is set out properly, you know. If his career is set out properly,
he's got the right advisors.
Yeah, you have to.
100%.
Obviously, in those lower weights, you have to manage your career. It's all about career management. I really do believe. Because look at your boy Bud. He's right now. His career's getting stifled by his management, isn't it? He's even beefing his management. His management's even beefing it.
Well, Byram and him, they're going through it.
They're beefing each other. So, you know, the Spence.
But it's good though.
Won't happen for a whole
No, it's good. Because his contract ends next October. And the longer they have animosity and beef, the more likely Crawford is going to go to the other side of the street with PBC. And then if he goes there, it's definitely going to make the Spence fight. There will be no excuses.
Spence will make an excuse.
Spence doesn't make excuses.
He's going to make an excuse.
What excuse is he going to make?
What excuse is he gonna make?
I know Spence doesn't want to fight. I don't think he wants to fight.
Spence wants to fight.
Are you sure?
He wants to
He
fight.
wants to fight.
Maybe not as quickly.
I saw a tweet today. Crawford said he's going back down to 135 today or something like that.
135.
Yeah, he said something like that.
Crawford said that out of his mouth.
He said I would tweet it.
Who tweeted it? Crawford tweeted it.
Yeah.
He said he go back down to 135.
Yeah.
Maybe try to fight Lomachenko. That's nonsense.
Damn, I can even find a tweet if you want me to.
If I didn't see, because I didn't see that. That sounds like nonsense. But you know.
Yeah, what you said? You continue talking. I'll look for the way.
I'm waiting for you. He said something really something outrageous, G. We need to hear that.
What do you think of Spence though against Garcia?
Hold on. Are you chatting shit?
Oh, I lying.
You don't lie about it, I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all.
Are you sure?
Is the thing gonna end? I don't believe that. He's
He
just
said it with his
he's just
own
trying to cause a scene.
He's gonna call the scene. Fight Lomachenko then.
Lomachenko
Lomachenko will dance with him, boy.
Or maybe one of the 135 guys like the Devontae Tank Davises and the Teofimo Lopez. Maybe one of them.
You think
talking smack to him? Maybe
Tank will fight Crawford.
Maybe one of them is talking smack to me. That's why he said it.
Crawford
But I
will
don't.
beat Tank up. Fam.
But anyways, obviously the highlight of last weekend, in terms of all sports, in my opinion, Spence Garcia.
Big fight.
That wasn't the highlight, man.
Spence, back in the ring, looking as good as ever.
It was excellent, fam.
Your thoughts?
Well, obviously it's been a while since he's been in the ring, innit?
Mm-hmm.
I think, boxing fans like sort of around the world after what happened to him in that accident were hella worried, innit? Whether we'd ever see him again. Yep. So, it's been a long wait, obviously, for him to get back in the ring. I think the fight against Garcia was a good fight. You know what I mean? It's a guy that has got a decent enough pedigree for him to come back to. But again, it's someone who, if Errol Spence was going to be right, he would win that fight comfortably. And I think, if you watch him, I think he did perform very, very well, to be honest. Very, very well. Didn't really look like he'd missed a step. I know in the build up to the fight with a couple of the interviews, I think someone was mentioning to me how he looked a little bit sort of like sluggish in like the way he was speaking and stuff. But when he stepped in the ring, from minute one to the end of the fight, to be honest, it looked excellent. So, and I mean, for me, I want to see him fight Crawford as soon as possible, innit? But I know there are other sort of like boxing purists out there that want to see him in another tune-up fight before we see that. So
he can't fight Crawford straight away.
This is what I'm saying.
You can't fight him straight away. You can't fight him next fight because obviously that layoff of 30 months is quite a lot. It's quite a long layoff. I would always say 2 fights. 2 fights before he fights him. So after the next one, then you can think about fighting Crawford. Obviously, if he fought him now, I'd favour Crawford. So it's more battle tested. He hasn't had that break, and obviously it doesn't have the demons chasing him as well. When you're in a crash, it's like a collision as well, isn't it? So there's another thing you're protecting on your body. As a boxer, you're protecting that you don't want to get hit again. Maybe wherever he got injured. So he needs another fight just to tune himself up before he fights Crawford.
I can understand that. Crawford is significant levels above Garcia, so the fight will just be completely different. I can understand why you want to see like another tune-up fight, but yeah, it's just exciting, obviously, as a fan to see him back in the ring, see him looking good. So
it is, definitely is. But yeah, to be fair, the way boxing's going, and you need a live gate. Like Tyson's drawing in 80 mil. I'm sure that fight Spence and Garcia didn't draw 80 mil. You need to have the big fights. Like that's it. That's what the sport. That's what the sport's predicated on. This is even one of the reasons why Mayweather's fighting Logan Paul. Like, like boxing's becoming a joke. It's becoming a joke, and these men need to have the big fights to like restore some credibility. Like literally, because if these YouTube fights keep on getting the big purse, like no one will really care about the real boxers.
It's a tight one. It's a very, very fine line because, in a way, I really admire what Mayweather's done because especially when he started his career, boxers themselves had no power. Like they had no power over their entire careers, over their fights, over purses, all of that. Towards the end of his career, he'd completely like turned the tables. Obviously, creation of his own sort of like promotion organization. TBE. You've got him obviously controlling pretty much everything regarding the Pacquiao fight, everything regarding the McGregor fight, everything probably regarding this Logan Paul fight. I mean, as a purist, you look at it and you think, you know who's going to win. Do you know what I mean? So if you're a boxing purist, the fight doesn't really interest you. But because of the following that Logan Paul has,
Yeah, he has a following, but
he's got such a massive following. People will just watch it because it's him, innit?
Fam,
It's all these young kids. All these young kids on YouTube.
He's there for my YouTube feed.
That's all it is.
He's there, fam. When you think about it, them man, he's got the massive like KSI as well. Them man,
They've got big followings.
big
fam.
followings on the YouTube.
Big followings.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why
one
that fight, KSI, Logan Paul, probably drawing more purse than some of these big boxers.
Bro.
You know exactly you one day just fighting in the ring.
No way.
With Logan Paul.
No way am I fighting no.
What was they gave? They offered you 250 bags. You're not fighting.
250 bags.
fight who?
They will knock me out though.
250 bags tonight to fight who?
To fight Logan Paul.
They're beating me now.
They give you a year's training.
I get a year to train.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Fam, if you don't have a year's training, you're getting beaten up.
You're
You're
getting
getting punched up because them man are training.
The Pauls take it seriously, you know. To be fair to Logan and Jake, they both
I'll
take it
actually,
seriously.
hopefully KSI will still out doing. I'll actually then fight Logan again because that was a bit interesting.
You want to fight 3 times.
I mean, they drew the first time, I believe.
Yeah,
KSI won
KSI won the second.
the dead rubber, you know, rubber meets the road type of thing.
You see, this is exactly what I mean though. You want to watch that fight because of the personalities in it,
Yeah.
not because of the
After the
technical
boxing,
ability, not because of the technical ability. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
What happens if
That balance is what you
on
have
the,
to
like,
strike.
worst case scenario, like what happens if Mayweather actually loses? Like, like we know, like it's not.
It's
like,
impossible.
Actually, is it nearly? It's like it's impossible.
It's
but
impossible.
what happens if like Logan Paul just catches Mayweather just adjusts the thing and Logan Paul knocks him straight up?
Okay.
And then what happens?
I don't know what to say. I mean, it'll be obviously devastating for his whole aura, his demeanor, you know what he stands for. I mean, yeah, but I'm very interested. Even if Floyd Mayweather was my favorite boxer, and I think he was the greatest of all time, I'd still like to see how he would rebound from a loss.
See, I can't even think about
I'll tell you what I would say.
To lose, yeah, it's calm, but to lose to Logan Paul,
I'd like to see what he says, what he comes out with.
If Paul beats him like a knockout.
If anyone beats him, but if it happens to be Logan Paul, let it be Logan Paul, innit? I'd like to see what he actually says in response.
he'd be in trouble.
He's built his whole brand.
Yeah.
His whole plan and not losing.
The whole brand.
But I think he'll be like, you know what? It's no big deal. I got 800 mil in the bank account. You know, I think that's what somebody would say.
He'll be talking money for that long. But remember what he said in that interview with Shannon Sharp, where he was like, "If you're with me, you're winning."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for him to get knocked out, like think about it, if Gervonta Davis loses, Mayweather's not gonna be that supportive of him. He can't tell him how to rebound from a loss, can he?
I get
From
what
his
you
own
mean.
experience,
He
yeah.
doesn't, from his own experience, he
Yeah.
doesn't know how to
He doesn't know
advise
how to
him,
cope
like,
with
Actually,
anyone.
does well, not pro. Obviously, from when he got robbed in the Olympics.
Yeah, in the amateurs, isn't it? Yeah.
but not pro.
Well, amateurs, you know what it is. Some great amateur boxers were losers in the real thing, isn't it? So it doesn't really matter, is it?
It's true.
Sure.
But it's back to the Spence. I mean, he's now 27-0, 21 knockouts. Garcia's gone down to 36-3. He also has 21 knockouts. I mean, Derek James, Spence's trainer, who should win Trainer of the Year, he's got 2 unified champions in his stable. He did say that this is one of the biggest comebacks in sports. I mean, especially it's right now one of the biggest comebacks in sports. You guys agree? Comeback is obviously came back from basically death and to now. You know what I mean?
Just because.
Biggest
No,
comebacks
I
in
would
sport.
say, with the Spence thing, obviously, we talk about big comebacks, but
Because Garcia's a credible fighter, very credible fighter.
fam, I can think of a couple of athletes that have come back from worse and plus. Spence is not that big a celeb, I would say.
Like
So he doesn't have that draw. Like when you talk about his comeback, it's not like a redemption because Spence doesn't really appeal to the masses like that.
who's come back recent times? Who's come back from worse or from more?
As in
Oh,
like
you
a
don't know
cat-
NFL dons.
As in like a catastrophic injury.
Could be anything.
You
Catch
don't know
injury,
NFL
drugs.
dons. Like Roethlisberger had a motorcycle accident. Alex Smith
Almost died from that.
Yeah,
Alex Smith had
17 surgeries on his leg,
Fam.
and he's playing
almost
now.
died.
Alex
Almost
Smith.
died.
What happened to Alex Smith? Was it a motorcycle accident?
Oh well, he broke his leg on the actual.
On the field.
Broke his leg on the field.
Yeah.
I think he had corrective surgery.
Yeah.
Obviously, surgery went wrong.
Damn.
Had mad infections. Almost died, and then came back. And so he's come back this season.
Damn. Shout out to him. What position does he play?
Quarterback.
Cool. But what team does he play with?
Washington.
Washington. Fair enough. Roethlisberger, has he gone back to a Super Bowl after his motorcycle accident?
I don't think
Was
he
that
had.
after or before?
I think it might be after. You know.
I think it was after.
What team is he at again? Roethlisberger?
I think it was between the first and the
I think
second.
oh yeah, he's been back. But he lost. He's been back twice actually, but he lost one. Because he lost against the Packers. Roethlisberger plays for Steelers.
That's what Steelers.
But
Oh, he's a champion.
he's a champion.
Two
Yeah,
times.
he's a champion two times.
Fair enough. Ben
But to
Roethlisberger.
be fair, maybe when it comes to the boxing, yeah, Spence coming back from a car crash is mad to be where he is now. So when it comes to boxing, that is probably the biggest comeback, like coming back from an actual car crash.
James said sports. Derek James said sports.
But
Recent.
for sports,
When was Ben Roethlisberger's crash?
it's probably like 20.
Mid 2000s.
Mid-2000s.
Somewhere between 07 and 09.
Yeah.
He's only just come back this season from elbow surgery.
Yeah, so
Missed the whole of last season
But
with elbow
the thing
surgery.
about NFL dons go through some mad injuries when it comes to the collision. But I guess boxing as well. Like, think about
Yeah,
those
you're
dons
getting
that
beaten up, G.
those orbital fractures. Like, it ended Anthony Ngogo's career, fam. Kell Brook's
not been the
He's
same.
not been the same, and they say like Dubois might.
Did one orbital bone in one fight, did the other one in the following fight, didn't he?
Yeah, Golovkin and Spence.
Fam.
Well, I should have never taken the Golovkin fight. So I don't know.
I don't know why. That's we said before. Mismanagement of career is crazy. Let's
change gears, man.
that's just want to touch on the fight.
Yeah,
actually.
okay. You want to still touch on the fight?
Touch the technical aspect. I would say, when I was watching the fight, I watched it start to finish. I stayed up late, and just seeing how sharp Spence was, you know, the leading with the jab, the diversity of punches to body to head, which is very important in boxing. I would say, you know, I always like a good body puncher because, you know, it keeps people guessing. If you're just going to be head hunting like the bar was against Joyce, it's very easy and predictable to finish. And even like Anthony Yard was against what's his face.
Apparently, you didn't box before. It didn't spar.
Apparently, he doesn't spar enough. Him and Tunde Ajayi lines in the camp. Just them guys are very delusional. I mean, Yard's got to think about either changing the trainer or bringing someone else in to help him because
Well, his career is not going to be the same anymore.
he still can be the same. Well, still can become world champion.
Yeah.
How
But
old is he?
he's 29. He still can because he's at just around world level. But him and Buatsi, that fight has lost steam. He needs to beat Arthur in a rematch.
The next couple fights are very important for him.
Next couple of fights are important. And he needs to bring another head in because from what I'm hearing, there's lack of sparring. You can't have that at this level. Apparently, just does pad work, which is good for like technique and working the punches. But
How can you
Man,
respond?
them are too good.
When people are punching you, but you need to be as a boxer. Wow, you need to know how other people are going to punch you. What still? Man,
it's
just
like
box.
sparring helps to build instincts. It's like repeating actions you're gonna do in a
In
match.
fact, my man had a terrible 2 weeks.
Crazy 2 weeks. For example, it's like a footballer that doesn't practice finishing training, like or movements or arcing and run stuff like that.
Like a footballer, it's like a striker that practices finishing with no goalkeeper.
No, yeah, literally.
Yeah, that's it. And then when the keeper comes, it's bare back.
You need to learn instincts. You need to learn little nuances that you can't really. Like they need to be replicated because if you don't replicate them, you won't be able to practice them in a match. And these are the things you're missing out on. If you had those things embedded with him, he probably might have nicked the Kovalev fight, and he probably would have beat Lynn Arthur as well.
So that's 2 losses.
That's 2 losses, which could have
Potentially avoidable.
The last one against the Arthur definitely avoidable. Kovalev, okay, cool. He's a bit old, but he's he was a great world champion, so fair enough.
Good fire.
But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, what I liked about Spencer a lot is his defense. He didn't really take that much damage, you know what I mean? And he was catching and slipping and blocking a lot of Garcia's punches. And Garcia, credit to him, he actually gave a lot of output compared to what he used to do. Because if you look at the numbers against Furman and Porter, he got out punched. They threw at least 300 and 200 more punches to him in both fights. And this fight Spence only threw 7 more. So you knew Garcia. So that shows Garcia was actually
Output was up.
His output was up, and that's what he's been very
Wasn't his dad saying
critiqued for.
something that he should have been even more active than he was or something like that?
Probably,
That's what
yeah.
his dad was saying.
I mean, but it's easier said than done when you're getting caught. You know what I mean? A lot by a guy of Spence's caliber. But if you feel like he did against Spence against Porter and Furman, he probably wins those fights. Especially the Porter fight. But you know, is what it is.
I guess.
It is what it is, you know.